critique of the cash transfers. From its syllabus, it will form a part of GS paper 2 under the subtopic of government policies and interventions and issues arising out of their design and implementation. Before we discuss the problems, let us first understand the context of these cash transfers. Now, the author says that the government has taken a recourse to cash transfers in order to alleviate poverty and improve the conditions of the marginalized people. For example, the government is discussing to bring in universal basic income, and very recently also, the government has come out with the PM Kisan scheme, which provides cash transfers to the marginal farmers. So thus, looking at the present state of things, where a lot of schemes are coming out which provide direct cash transfer to the people, the author has provided us with certain problems which are inherent with the system of cash transfer. The first is that cash transfers are subject to exclusionary and inclusionary errors. Let us understand this with an example. So we had discussed now that the PM Kisan will only give cash transfer to the farmers who own land and will not provide benefits to the landless agricultural labourers. So you see, with cash transfers, there is a certain exclusion criteria and a certain inclusionary criteria. So thus the author says, with schemes based on cash transfers, there can always be errors with respect to this exclusionary and inclusionary criteria, because deciding who should be excluded and who should be included will always be a very sensitive topic. So as per the author, if in the place of cash transfer, the government comes out with such schemes which can generally improve the scenario for everyone, then that would be much better. Secondly, the author again has taken the example of UPI and the PM Kisan and says that both of these schemes are unconditional. By unconditional, we mean that these schemes do not specify the purpose for which these cash transfers are given to the people. So therefore, in the scenario that these cash transfers are unconditional, there is a lot of possibility that the cash given to people can actually be used by people to consume temptation goods like alcohol, tobacco, etc. Therefore, this can lead to an increase in demand for temptation goods. Third is a very important point which the author highlights. The author says that in order to meet the expenses for the cash transfer, the government would definitely have to cut down on its expenditure on the social sector initiatives like education, health, sanitation, etc. Let's understand this with an example. So say PM Kisan scheme actually requires 70,000 crore rupees for its implementation. So of course it's very obvious that the government cannot produce the 70,000 crore rupees from thin air. It will try to make available this 70,000 crore by cutting down on its expenditure from other social sectors. So hence the author is highlighting that since the government will cut down its expenditure on important social sectors like education, health, etc. So due to the withdrawal of the state from the playing field, people will be left at the mercy of the private sector, because now people would have to turn towards the private sector to gain access to services like health and education. Thus the author says, if the government withdraws from the stage of social sector, then the people will have no option but to rely on the mercy of the private sector. Lastly, the author has taken example of certain case studies which have shown that DBT or direct benefit transfer has led to the dismantling of social welfare schemes in a country. For example, with coming in of BPT, the Ashas and the Anganwadi workers are paid very less wages. But it is to be noted that these Ashawari and Anga workers rather play a very instrumental role in ensuring nutritional security and improving basic health facilities. So you see how this entire thing works. Because when the government is cutting down expenditure on social welfare schemes, and for example they are not able to pay the Anganwadi or the Asha workers properly, then of course these Ashas and the Anganwadi workers will not work properly, and it will have a direct impact on the nutritional security and basic health facilities of a country. So in totality, the author says that cash transfer actually incentivizes the states to shrink their constitutional responsibilities, which means rather than actually coming out with programs which help to improve the basic tenets of our social welfare, the government is just trying to dole out money to people so as to elevate poverty, but this will not help in the long run because the basic problem would still remain. So rather than giving out money to people, government should make proper actual investment towards health infrastructure, education infrastructure, which would yield rather more sustainable results in the long run. So lastly, the author has provided certain measures a way forward to improve the situation. The first, as we discussed, is that government should rather focus on the structural problems of the economy rather than just doling out money. This the government can do by focusing on providing decent employment opportunities to the people, ensuring minimum wages are given to the people, universalizing access to social security benefits, etc. Secondly, the government should not shift its burden of ensuring basic facilities to the private sector. That is, it is the sole responsibility of the government only to ensure that the people of this country get the basic facilities from the government and not from the private sector. With this, let's move on to our next news. This news appears on page number 13.